Let me tell you something quietly, something people rarely say out loud. No one teaches you how it feels to wake up one morning and realize that silence weighs more than the cold. No one explains what to do when the phone doesn't ring the way it used to, when the chairs around the table feel too big for so few people. Today I want to sit with you, slowly, as if we were on the porch at sunset. I want to share a truth I learned late in life, but one that can still heal. Because even at 84 years old, the heart is still learning. And stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you doesn't begin with sadness. It begins with love. My name is like many old men's names become in silence, the one who remains. I'm 84 years old with hands full of wrinkles and a memory full of voices that are no longer here. For a long time I thought growing old was just sore knees and slower steps. I believed the hardest part would be climbing stairs or misplacing my glasses, but I was wrong. The heaviest weight isn't in the body, it's right here in the chest. Loneliness after 70 doesn't arrive suddenly, it comes quietly, like a shadow stretching across the yard at dusk. At first it's gentle, almost polite, then it starts staying longer. I'm not here to give advice like a teacher. I'm here to speak as someone who has cried in silence, who has learned to make coffee for just one cup, who has learned to listen to the ticking clock when conversation is gone. I want you to feel that you're not alone right now, because while you're listening to me, we are together. And let me tell you how it all began. Let me tell you something. I remember the exact morning when I realized the house no longer truly belonged to me. I was standing in the kitchen. Sunlight came through the window, lighting up dust floating in the air. Out of habit, I placed 2 plates on the table. Then I just stood there staring at them. I picked one up and put it back in the cabinet. That kitchen used to be noise, footsteps, laughter, plates clinking, voices asking, "Is dinner ready?" Now it was an echo. The refrigerator became the loudest sound in my day. When I was young, I dreamed of owning a big house. I thought success meant space. Today I understand the real luxury was the people inside it. I learned that emptiness isn't measured in square feet. It's measured in empty chairs. That day I cried a little, not loudly, just quietly, the kind of crying you do when you no longer have the strength to make noise. But sitting there in that silent kitchen, I also learned something small but important. I could still turn on the light. I could still play soft music. I could still speak out loud even if no one answered. And that was the beginning of learning how to talk to myself again. But what came next was even harder to accept. And then I understood. The body grows old, yes, but memories grow heavier than bones. One afternoon I sat in my old armchair, the one that creaks when I shift my weight. I closed my eyes and, without asking, the scenes arrived. My wife laughing while hanging laundry in the backyard, my children running barefoot, me coming home tired from work but happy. Those memories used to warm my heart. Now, they also brought sadness, because remembering is beautiful, but it can hurt. I compare the man I was with the man I am now. I used to walk fast. Now I walk carefully. I used to plan the future. Now I have long conversation with the past. For a while, I tried to escape those memories. I kept the TV on just to avoid thinking. I slept more just to avoid feeling. But I learned something simple. Memories don't come to hurt us. They come to remind us that we loved. And loving, even when it hurts, is still a blessing. So I started talking to my memories, thanking them, asking them not to leave me completely. Because without memory, a person isn't old. They are empty. And just when I began making peace with my memories, another kind of silence arrived. There was a moment that changed me. I received a short phone call, the kind that never brings good news. A lifelong friend had passed away. I hung up and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my hands, thinking, now there are fewer of us. We used to talk about plans. Now we talk about goodbyes. One by one, the companions of my youth became photographs, names no longer spoken out loud. I felt afraid, not of death itself, but of losing the people who remembered who I used to be. Because when someone who knew you young is gone, they take a piece of your history with them. But I also learned something gentle and painful at the same time. As long as I'm still here, they're still alive inside me. So I started saying their names, telling stories out loud, raising a glass of water in quiet toasts. I learned that honoring those who are gone doesn't mean crying every day. It means living with more kindness. And when I thought I had learned how to live with loss, loneliness taught me another lesson. Let me confess something. For many years, I was afraid of being alone with myself, because when the noise disappears, truth shows up. One evening I sat on the porch. The sun was slowly setting. Birds were singing, unaware of my age, and for the first time in a long while. I didn't turn on the radio. I listened to my breathing. I listened to my thoughts. I listened to my tired but still beating heart. That's when I realized not every silence is an enemy. Some silences are rest. I started taking slow walks every morning, greeting strangers, watering plants that don't speak but still respond, writing small memories in an old notebook. I learned to cook for myself as if I were an honored guest, to make my bed as if someone important were coming over. Because when you treat yourself with respect, loneliness hurts less. And just when I thought nothing new could happen in my life, something unexpected arrived, and then something simple happened. One day a stranger smiled at me. Nothing more than that. But that small gesture reminded me the world could still see me. I began to understand that hope doesn't arrive loudly, it comes quietly, through short conversations, passing hands, gentle eye contact. I didn't become young again, but I felt useful again. I started listening more, sharing advice when asked, telling stories. I discovered that old age isn't only about loss, it's also about calm wisdom. Now I know I can still plant kindness, even if I don't get to see every flower grow. And today, sitting here with you, I feel something I thought I had lost forever. Companionship. If you stayed with me until now, I want to tell you something important. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how many people are gone. Your story still matters. I learned that loneliness after 70 doesn't mean abandonment. It means change. It means learning to love differently, to move slower, to listen deeper. If you feel alone today, I want you to know I understand you. You are not broken. You are not invisible. I gently invite you to leave a memory in the comments. Something simple, a laugh, a name, a moment, so we can keep each other company a little longer. And if you'd like to sit with me again sometime, this channel will always keep a chair for you. I'll be here with my slow voice, with my simple stories, waiting for you. Now take a deep breath, rest your shoulders, and remember this: as long as someone is willing to listen, we are never completely alone. Thank you for staying with me. Until our next quiet conversation.